Welcome to the next episode of the Iowa Girls Wrestling Stories podcast. Today I have two longtime friends, Avery and Anna Sondall, twins, both from Boone. They both wrestled at Iowa Central, and they're here today on Easter to just enlighten our day. How are you guys doing?
Good. Good.
Good. Did you get a lot of things from the Easter Bunny?
Yep. Of course.
Good, good. So I last saw you last week at Twin River Duels, and you guys were coaching a progressive team, progressive high school team. How did everything go there?
Good. I mean, as a team, we didn't do the best, but individually, I think everyone had a good tournament overall. Learned a lot.
Good. So Anna probably can go back to a few Twin River Duels that maybe I
We just
coached her,
right.
and
Yep.
and and maybe we didn't always have the best day as a team, but everybody had a good time and got out of there. So did you draw on some of those experiences as a coach?
Yeah.
because
Like
sometimes they were a little bit rough, but if you can make kids feel good about going 0 and 6 and wanting to wrestle the next day, you've done a really good job as a coach. Let's go back a little ways to high school. Boone High School. I know Anna, you wrestled from way before that, but how was Jordan as a coach, and what were your high school days like?
Jordan as a coach, we didn't click until my sophomore year. So my computer just fell asleep. But it was originally Dalton Morlam my freshman year when I came in. And Jordan was just the assistant coach. We just got to know each other, and he really stepped up as, being my coach. So then when he took over, and it just ended up being really good, and he was a really good coach.
I know
I
Avery didn't. Oh, no, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry.
I don't want to jump in and interrupt if you got good stuff, but I know Avery did not wrestle right away. Why is that?
Well,
Avery was
I was a dancer and I was in competition dances, and my mom was spending money on that.
and she was very good.
I actually asked in eighth grade if I could go out after she went out in seventh grade, and my mom was like, "Nope, it's Anna's thing. You have dance. You're in these dances," because I was a competitive dancer, and she's like, "Nope." And then we kind of never talked about it until when I started junior year.
Yeah, I think I actually had a conversation at Alana's graduation with your mom why you never wrestled and stuff. So, what made her change her mind, and what changed your mind as a was it a junior, or was it your senior year you went out?
I was a junior, yeah.
Okay, so what
Um,
changed your mind then?
still love to dance and everything, but it wasn't just my heart just wasn't in it as much as it was anymore. I was like, I want to try something new. I want to go. I was like, should I wrestle? I was kind of joking at first, but and everyone's like, yeah, you should wrestle, Avery. And then I was actually okay, I might as well just try it. I did. There's a girls camp in the summer with Jordan ran it, and then it was trying to get more girls to go out, and I went, and I actually really liked it. It was just I didn't know because of I had a lot of dance commitments, and I was competing, and I had practice every Saturdays and stuff. So it was just I didn't know if I'd have time for it either. I also was help teaching dance classes with the little kids, volunteering like that. So
Well,
yeah,
I think we're glad she went out, aren't we, Anna? I don't know.
we are.
We
I taught
are.
her
We're
everything.
I know you did. So let's talk a little bit about your experience in high school, and let's go to some IWCOA tournaments. And actually, let's go to that last one that you I think it was the last one you placed and had an injury. Is that the right one? So
That no,
was that your
hers or
junior
me?
year? No, yours.
Me,
Anna's.
mine. When I broke my leg, that was junior
Yeah,
year.
that was junior year. That's a great story. Why don't you go ahead and let us know? Just tell me about your experience at that IWCOA.
Okay, so my first match was good. I won with the pin, and my second match, I had wrestled a girl that I had wrestled at our very first tournament in the season, and I won, which that was fine. And I was down 5-0 because you know how I am. I just wrestle, and then I sometimes Just I need a
You
minute to get kicked in, you know?
kind of wait a little while to start wrestling. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And so I was on bottom and I went to do a stand up and she tried to pull me on top of her and I stepped back and broke my leg. After that, I laid on the mat for 7 minutes. And this is, I had never been hurt before. So this was, I didn't know that there was like a minute 30 rule. Like, I didn't know I couldn't get up and start wrestling again when I decided I was okay. Um, so I laid on the mat and like, I knew something was very wrong, but we didn't know what it was. So I had to forfeit that match, unfortunately, and we had to make a game plan. So you came over with 2 knee sleeves, taped me up, put some knee sleeves on me, and I was ready to get to the second day. So that was our first goal, is to make it to the second day, and then we'll figure it out after that. So I wrestled my next match, and it was all adrenaline. 19-second pin, headlock, done and over with. We're gone. We're out. So when we got back to the hotel, I iced it, and I still knew something was very wrong, but we didn't know what, and we weren't going to go to like the hospital or anything because that would pull me out of the tournament entirely. So we had already at that point decided that I was going to try and get on the podium. So the second day, I had 3 more matches to win. Was it 3?
Probably somewhere in there, at least 2, if not 3.
At least 2. And I somehow won them both, all of them. And I freaked out and was running around, and then I decided to forfeit at 8th place, and that was the end of it. I wanted to go on, but at that point my leg was shot and I like could almost not walk. Turns out I almost had to have a knee reconstruction because the cartilage was collapsing where the bone was broken because I was walking on it. I went to the doctor that following Monday and they took an x-ray and it was there was so much fluid that they couldn't see anything. So I had to wait a week for an MRI. So I walked around school and everything with this broken leg. And they told me that I had a torn meniscus at first. So they thought they were going to locate the tear and it was all going to be good. I was going to be able to wrestle at AAU state. It was going to be awesome. They had my hopes high. And then they came in and said, it's broken, actually. But it was just crazy. There was so much adrenaline through that tournament that really got me through. So many people that were just pushing me, supporting me, telling me that, like, you can do this. Like, you have the heart to win these matches. It's get out of your head about your leg. Like, you can wrestle blind if you want to. You don't need a leg, you know?
Yeah. Well, and legs kind of help wrestle. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a leg or two there, to help you out. No,
Right.
I just remember that tournament because I know I missed taping you. I missed one of the matches. I don't even know whose match I missed, but I missed one of my kids' matches. But those were different days back then. It really was. Sometimes I feel like, it's great that we've had this growth and there's 3,500 girls wrestling in the state. But back at that time, everybody kind of knew each other and we all kind of had traveled together and it was really kind of a little bit more, more of a group.
Yes.
Yeah. So I miss those days sometimes.
Me too.
And then both of your senior years, you both got to wrestle at the IWCOA tournament. How did that go for, I remember how Anna did. Now that now I look back, I know how Anna did. How did you do, Avery?
I won my first 2 matches, and then I actually broke my collarbone
Oh,
during
Jesus.
So it was like kind of like back-to-back years where we both got injured, but I ended up forfeiting out of the tournament. My bones were like this. I went to the hospital right after. Yeah.
And Anna,
That
I believe yours came down to another blood round match, didn't it?
It's always the blood rounds, Troy. I don't think I've ever done anything good. I get in the blood round every time. But I think that the blood round is something that I take as that's what helps me get through, like the adrenaline and the mindset of if you don't win, you're done, you know?
Yeah.
So I've always liked being in the blood rounds, but I also wish I would have gone further. Like my junior year, I think I would have gone further and maybe ended up semifinals, finals matches, but we can't look back and take back things. So I'm happy with how my high school career ended.
Very good. And then you guys both went on the recruiting trail and ended up at the same place. How did this happen?
Okay, so I wanted to wrestle at Iowa Central before it was even announced. I knew that I had heard through the grapevine that they were going to have a team, but like,
We heard through the grapevine because I went on a visit there for the dance team, and they were like, "You should go talk to the wrestling coach. They're gonna get a girls' team," but it wasn't like announced. So then when we went, like I went with my mom to talk to the wrestling coach. They were like, "No, we're not doing this," and we're like,
so
"Nope."
okay, so I had sent an email to the athletic director and the head men's coach, and just said who I was and that I wanted to wrestle there and that I was looking into it and stuff. And the head men's coach responded with a one sentence and said, "We will not have in girls wrestling at this time, period." And that was the end of it. And so I was like, I just let it go, and I was just looking at other places. And then less than 3 weeks after that email, they announced that they were starting a girls team and that they were looking for a head coach. And then not long after that, Zach Hensley reached out to me, and we had a phone call, and I was like committed within a week, but I didn't announce it until May. So I was committed by February, and I don't think I announced it until May. But that's kind of how that happened. And then she was on the dance team, so you can talk about that.
I kind of didn't know where I was gonna go, and I was like, well, I kind of wanna. Well, I wanted to be with my sister for like first year of college and stuff, and I was like, oh, we can just live together, and I could be like. And I talked to him at recruitment, or not recruitment, or first signing, and he was like, well, yeah, you can be a part of the team too. And I was like, sure. I was like, yeah, because I knew I wanted to continue to wrestle, but yeah.
So how was the experience at Iowa Central? Sorry, how was the experience at Iowa Central? I know Zach fairly well. Now they have April in there. I don't know if April coached either of you
April's
two or
awesome.
not. Yeah, I really enjoy
Yeah,
April.
yeah. So the environment was very, very different compared to high school, obviously. So when I had never been on a girls' team before, like the girls' team that we had in high school was a team that I built.
But it was
So
we still practiced with the boys. We still like wrestled with the boys. It wasn't like
in high
just
school,
a girls team,
Yeah,
right?
because it
So
was
like,
yep.
so I had never been like a part of something that was just all girls and that I wasn't like a secondary coach of. So like when I was in high school and like had this girls team, I was like a secondary coach. So like I was helping Jordan coach, teach them stuff, stuff like that. And so moving on to Iowa Central and starting on the girls team was hard. I wish I could tell you like how hard it was to just like adapt to that environment. It was crazy. Um yeah, I'm trying to think. What do you
I
How
want to
don't
about
know.
you,
I
Avery?
feel I feel like when we started wrestling in high school, we were like it brought us closer together. But then when we actually got to college and lived together and would sort of practice together in a class together, it was like
She punched me in the face on like the first week of practice.
whoa. Like because we used to be practice partners. Listen, we used to be practice partners. And
she
it was
punched
just
me.
like, no, stop. It was just like we would fight all the time, and it was like just like
Our relationship wasn't very good.
after we got into college. So I feel like I do like Iowa Central, and I loved going to school there, and I loved wrestling there. But it kind of like
Took a toll on our
relationship, and I don't like how it did that. But
Gotcha. Do you guys just hit my brain right now? Do you guys have any of those twin things? Can you like know when
Twins like
somebody's like twin things, like somebody's in trouble when they're not like 100 miles away, she just fell and hurt herself?
uh not like really, but like we say things at the same time
Yeah.
sometimes, and like
I don't know.
we
Yeah.
do like we have a lot of the same like
We do similar things.
we do similar things at the same time. Sometimes we walk out of that. Sometimes like I'll come from Fort Dodge and I'll show up and we'll be wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, we do that actually a lot.
Like we do
That's
stuff like
funny.
that, but like we don't have like intuition on like when one of us is like having pain. As you can see, we're not identical.
Not exactly. So that's fraternal twins, is that correct?
Yes.
And Avery was the oldest, and Anna's the
Yeah.
youngest. And I think her mom told me she was pokey then, and she's been pokey ever since.
Yep.
That is something that would come out of her mouth, so that is 100% accurate.
Yes. So what's everybody doing now? I Avery, I've talked to you a couple times. You're back in Boone. What's going on in your life now?
I am back in Boone and I work in Ames at Child Serve as a caregiver for children. And then I'm also the girls' middle school head wrestling coach. So that's pretty cool.
What did you coach this entire year, right? As
Yeah, just their season.
how did that go? You got a
It
lot of
was
girls
definitely,
out.
I did have a lot of girls out. I mean, we started with 22, ended with 15,
That's good.
which is pretty good since it's the first year for the girls' team at Boone, or a middle school girls' team at Boone. Um, Josh Atwell helped me so much with everything. I'm thankful for that, you know. But it was good.
Good.
It was fun for sure. I really enjoyed it a lot. It was kind of hard though because I don't have an assistant, so I was kind of like in the middle of the mat all the time. But
Understand?
it was really good. It was really fun experience, and I look forward to the next year.
Well, very good. And Anna, you hung up the singlet for a swimsuit. So how was that? How was that?
So when I came to Iowa Central originally, I wanted to be on the swim team. I swam for 2 years in high school, and I'm not very good. I'm not very fast. I'm not
You got a good
anything.
doggy paddle? Do you
No,
have a
I
good
know how
doggy
to.
paddle, right?
Not fast. Yes, yeah, something like that. Um, but I knew that it helped me tremendously with wrestling when I started. I used to when I was in high school, I used to be a diver, and then I decided I wasn't good at that. But my mom said that if I was gonna quit diving, that I had to join the swim team because it was gonna help me with wrestling. So I did, and I ended up falling in love with swimming. But I wanted to do it to keep me in shape because it helped me tremendously with staying in wrestling shape because transitioning from swim to wrestling. So when I had my visit at Iowa Central, I was originally told that that was going to be okay and that that was going to work, but they didn't realize that they were the exact same season, like identical. Like we went to nationals at the same time that they did. Um, so I ended up not swimming both years, and I don't for NJCAA. It's only 2 years of eligibility. They can't give you any more than that. I tried. We tried every cut in the book to try and get me to be able to wrestle again. Um, Although I still had 1 year at Iowa Central because I changed my major from secondary education to automotive technology. So it's a 2 year program. It's a kind of a trade program thing. Um, and the swim coach reached out to me and said, I see you're not wrestling anymore. Do you want to join the swim team? And I was really on the fence about it at first because I really wanted to focus on just like getting through school, working, stuff like that. And I just wanted to be done with athletics in general because I was kind of upset that I wasn't going to wrestle anymore. I didn't know how I was going to take that mentally. But after many missed phone calls and emails, will you swim? Will you be on the team? I caved and I said, let's do it. And I'm very happy with that decision. My swim season went very well, and I had a lot of fun with the girls on the team. We went to nationals. It was in New York.
Oh, cool.
So it was really fun. Yes. And our coach was awesome, and it was a good experience. So
I've been talking to a lot of girls, obviously, and just as a high school coach, I talk to a lot of people about going to college. A lot of girls outside because I know a lot of people in the sport. Would you say the 2 year option going to an Iowa Central, Iowa West, well, I think there's five different 2 year options in Iowa for girls wrestling or women's wrestling. Do you think that's a good place to start, even if you have ambition to go to the 4 year school?
yeah,
Yes.
And why?
100%. Um, when I was looking into it at first, I wanted to be in a smaller environment to where, like, if I needed to reach out to my professor, that they were going to know me personally. Academic wise, I mean, if you're very, like, really academically inclined, 4 year school, that's all you. But I wanted to be able to reach out to my professors and communicate if I was having an issue, like cutting weight in the middle of wrestling season, got a 7-page paper. Can I get an extension on that? I want somebody
Yeah.
that like is to know my situation and stuff like that. I think it's a very good place to start academically. Wrestling wise, I also think it's a good place to start, especially if you do not know freestyle. If you didn't have the opportunity to go to like Grandview practices on Sundays like I did, and if you don't know, because it's an entirely different point system and stuff like that. So if you don't know freestyle very well, I would 100% recommend going to a 2-year school, because they teach you.
Yeah, I would agree with that because I like knew how the scoring worked for freestyle, but I didn't like know like leg laces, guts. Like I didn't know any of that stuff. So it was good to learn that there and start there, especially for someone who hasn't been like very long.
Do you think academically it's tough as a freshman, right? Sports and academics. You think that the 2 year maybe helps that out too?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
100%.
Well, let's have some fun because I've revamped some of my questions just for you guys. Actually, just today I sat and rewrote some of my questions and stuff. But we'll just start with the easy because we just were talking about it. Freestyle or folk style?
Folk
Folk
style.
style.
Is there a reason why?
Yes. Okay. So, well, me, Troy. I like the fat man rolls. I like to do crazy stuff on bottom.
She's just a little funky.
I like to work
Yeah.
top, but more so pinning combinations, breakdowns. I was just really funky in that way. I don't do anything like crazy with freestyle. I actually really don't like freestyle. I like to watch freestyle. I just wasn't very good at not doing a chin whip. That's what I would do every time. Like I don't know. I wouldn't do a leg lace. I would just be like chin whip every match. But I do prefer folk style 100%. Why don't you say why, Avery?
Well, I feel like only wrestling for 2 years, and then I felt like kind of I had to like start over with like the freestyle and everything like that. That was kind of hard, and I just kind of I did like wrestling top bottom a lot. I like struggle with takedowns and stuff, so like I think it was just like I didn't like being on my feet as much, and I could like work on top and like score points on top.
Yeah. If you're not really good on your feet, freestyle is probably not the greatest sport for you. So what's your favorite wrestling shoe?
A6 aggressors.
Okay. You
I
only
don't know.
wrestled a couple years. What do you think, Avery?
I like my Rudices though. I've had the A6, but I actually do like my Rudices, the Joe Burrow one, golden ones.
Do you? So I have mostly Rudis now too, and I was Asics prior to that, but I guess I'm just trying to be fashionable and go with the flow, right? So
Stay in with the fashion
yeah, it's with the
trend.
I'm one of those, yeah, I'm a shoe person. So outside of wrestling, what's your favorite shoe?
Converse,
Converse,
Birkenstock.
Converse and
Birkenstocks.
Yeah, I just like slipping them on and not like wearing an actual like shoe.
I could go with that. I kind of, I hit the Crocs there for a while. I've kind
I
of
also have,
I
yeah.
I've evolved a little bit. I did Converse for a while, but they're too flat. So now I'm going
Yeah,
more with the Dunks and Air Force Ones.
yeah.
And now that I'm really getting old, my wife made fun of me because I now have Hokas and they're like 4 inches thick soles, and they're like old
I
people's
have.
soles. But I love my Hokas; they're awesome. So no, that's the wrestling shoes. I think Avery and I probably should go shoe shopping sometime together. I think we'd be all right.
Yeah.
Um, done. You're done with weigh-ins. What do we eat for after weigh-ins? What's our go-to foods?
Uncrustable. Okay, this is gonna be really weird. You're gonna think this is really weird, but I don't know why, but I would always drink chocolate milk and have pickles.
I can see that. I can do chocolate milk and pickles, and Uncrustables are pretty solid too.
Oh, me. So in high school, I would always have a 6-inch sub from Subway, and then I would have like some vegetables or fruit, just whatever was in the fridge. Would be packed in a lunchbox, and my mom would bring it to weigh-in, so I didn't have to like carry it all day, and it would get nasty. She would bring it to weigh-ins, which was very, very grateful for her.
Yep.
But in college, we didn't have Subway.
Yeah.
I would make a turkey sandwich with pickles and mustard.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Any cheese on
It,
that?
yes, white American, of
White
course,
American.
of course.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have gone more with, I think I'd have gone more with Swiss or a sharp cheddar myself, but
Well, we don't just get to choose. That was the only option.
They send it.
They send it with us. They don't just give us gourmet cheese.
Oh, you didn't like go out and buy your food ahead of time. They actually
No,
sent
they
food with,
bought food.
They bought food for us.
Well,
Like
we got it from the calf. The Train calf sent a bunch of food with us and
Gotcha.
waters and things
and
like that.
we could bring like snacks. So, like I would bring like a little thing of like fruit snacks or like just granola bars, lots of granola bars, just like for during the tournament. But like for after, like an after weigh-in meal, I would eat what the calf would bring us because then I wouldn't have to bring anything that would like spoil or get gross because we would usually stay overnight the night before.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, most of your meets are Saturday mornings. Probably had to travel a little bit, which
Or
I
yes, so
get
we would
that.
go.
So yeah, let's see how twinny you guys actually are. You get to go out to any restaurant. There's no more weight cutting. You're just an old fat guy like me. You can go to any restaurant. You can go to any restaurant you want. Where are we going and what are we eating?
Texas Roadhouse steak.
Just what? So what's going with our steak? What's our side?
I usually get rice and a baked potato.
It's kind of boring.
Okay. Well, wow.
Well, it was kind of boring,
What
you
would you
know.
get for your
What
sides?
what what about the sweet potato with all the gooey stuff on
I
it?
know. Yes, I. That's my second one. It's either a baked potato or a sweet potato.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. How about you, Avery?
I'm a big pasta girl, so I'd probably go to like Olive Garden and get like the
Fettuccine.
fettuccine alfredo or something like that with like the breadsticks. Yep.
Salad all night long
Avery
because
doesn't eat
it's
vegetables.
you don't eat vegetables.
That's not true. I'm a little bit pickier than others. I like some vegetables, just not a lot of them.
All right. What will we absolutely not eat? How about that?
Cucumbers, I will not eat cucumber. Well, do you want me to just tell you what I
Well,
will?
so how
Because
about this? So cucumber, you just said you eat pickles. You just said pickles, and I want to let you know that pickles are actually cucumbers before they've been thrown in that jar.
Yeah, I do. I do know that.
yes. Okay, so the only things I'll eat is corn, green beans, and carrots,
Okay.
and pickles, I guess.
And pickles. Treated cucumbers, we'll call them.
Yeah.
How about anything you absolutely won't eat, Anna?
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, really?
Yeah, I really don't like mayonnaise, but I really like mustard.
Would you? Well,
That's
how
I
about
like all.
Miracle? Is Miracle Whip okay? No, just
Oh,
any of that white crap is bad.
uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
How about can you put butter on a sandwich?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Butter or margarine.
Like grilled
Yeah.
cheese, butter, not man. Like some people put man. No, why would
Oh,
you do
I can't
that?
see that. That
I
doesn't seem
think
right.
some people do it.
Really?
Some people think it gives it more flavor or something.
Oh, I don't know what's wrong with them. They obviously, they don't get
Just
it.
have
Okay.
okay.
So we get to go on vacation, travel anywhere you want. Where are you going and why?
You can go first.
Okay.
I have an answer, but mine's kind of long.
That's all right.
Okay, I probably go to the like Bahamas or something or like Mexico because it's warm, beach, like that.
So you're
Um,
warm beaching it. Okay.
Yeah.
so I really want to go to Italy. And the story behind that is I actually have celiac disease, which
Hmm.
is a gluten allergy, and that I've recently found out about. I say recently. Recently was 3 years ago, almost.
Feels like
I
yesterday.
found out my freshman year of college when I was
So
trying to cut
you
weight.
can't eat anything. Basically,
Yes.
everything has gluten.
Yeah, kind of, but
Everything
you
good.
find. But in Italy, they make everything is made gluten free. Like their
Really?
pasta and stuff are like, yes, and they have a lot of stuff that's like bread that's gluten free. And so I just want to go there to like eat because look at me,
Nice.
big.
Nice.
Feedback.
That's a great reason. I like that. So if you can live anywhere, where are you going to live?
Probably on
Mom and
my own
dad's
little
basement?
Yeah, probably on a
my own personal island with like a beach house, you know.
yeah, I'd probably say that too. Unless I like, because I don't think I'd be able to learn another language. Like, I would struggle like moving somewhere with a language barrier because I don't think I could learn a new language to try and communicate with people, and that would stress me out. So I think that I would have to live on a personal island too,
Not
with a
neither
personal.
one of you. Neither one of you said you were moving to Northwest Iowa to come coach with me. I don't
I well,
understand this.
I was
I don't get
Oh, then
it.
I'm living in your basement.
I was just telling somebody about that the other day
See?
about
I
coming to
told you.
coach
You
with.
said, "Well, I'm in automotive and stuff." And I'm like, "Guess what? We have cars in Northwest Iowa, so that works."
I'll
That
move. We'll move
that
together.
Can we live in your basement? Will you
it's
feed
kind of
it?
a mess right now. I'm looking around. You've been in the wrestling room. It's
Is
kind
that
of
where you're
becomes
at?
yeah, I'm in the wrestling room right now.
Oh, okay,
Doesn't it look like the
nice.
wrestling room?
I didn't know. I didn't think that it was actually. I didn't
Yeah, no,
know.
that's it's the only quiet spot in my house. I guess if you're coming to coach, I'll find you. Oh, we'll hook you up. Oh,
You could put a mattress on the floor down there.
yeah, I'll throw a couple mattresses down. I'll
As
give you a
long as you.
pillow or two. No, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I'm
I'll
in.
plan on that for next year. I'll be both here for that'll be great because I'm looking for someone to help me coach because I can't even take a shot anymore. I'm too crippled.
your
It's
your knees are starting to give out on you.
it's
I know
bad.
that
It is really bad.
were having knee problems back when we were wrestling each other
I
and
know.
coaching and trying to show us stuff. You had to put your knee patch and brace on and
Yes. Now I
put on.
so now I have to start where we finish and then I work my way backwards and hopefully I have someone that knows how to actually teach the shot because I can show the finishes and everything and where the good position, but I can't get there and make it look good. It's bad. It's really bad. Well, let's talk about
Okay.
that. So it's coaching. Here's coaching philosophy. It's second period. They just flip the coin. It lands on your color. Probably red. Well, it could be red or green at Boone, couldn't it? Probably wore a lot of probably green ankle bands, so it landed on green. What's your choice second period?
The fur.
I feel like it depends on the wrestler. I always tell them to go down, just. But if I know that they're gonna get like put straight to their back if they go on bottom, like, and it's like they're a hammer on top, then I'm not gonna put them bottom. I either go like because most of my girls are beginners right now, so I usually do bottom or neutral. I never
Bottom or
choose top.
neutral? I choose top all the time anymore because I have girls that are really good on top and everywhere else we're not that great.
I was really good on top, but I
Yeah.
still would always prefer period. But
It just depends on the wrestler.
just
I feel
it
How
just
like
about
depends
too.
on it depends on the match.
how about Avery got choice? She deferred, and you have to make the decision now.
I would choose top. I was really good
You would
on
choose
top.
top.
I would jump sides and I would start on one side. It didn't even matter what side I would start on, and then I would jump sides and chop ride right into a chicken wing.
Very
So
nice. Very
that's
nice.
my
That's
signature thing.
You're jumping a question ahead because the first I had, what's our favorite takedown?
Well, you know what my favorite takedown is. It's a fireman's carry.
Very good. Avery,
I do like the fireman's carry too, but I like a throw by to a single leg. It
Sweep.
works,
both very good.
yeah, with the yeah, because it works. It works better with freestyle, going straight to a lace.
Very
I agree with
nice.
that.
Yeah. Let firemen's get you four automatically almost every time though, doesn't it?
Yes.
See, and that's good. So you already said you're gonna jump sides, chicken wing. You're very good at it. Avery, what was your pinning combination?
Oh, jeez.
Did you ever get to pin somebody? I'm
Yes.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Anna taught me everything, so like I like what she likes. I did a chicken wing at times, but yeah, just chicken wing really, or a
And
half,
Or
free,
half.
nice little half.
yeah, halves work great. Freestyle, what are we hitting? Are we guts? Are we laces? Or what are we?
Ace. I'm an assassin. I would hit an
Ooh,
assassin.
I love the assassin. That's
Me too.
that's like
So
that's your chin whip
I
from the top.
taught me. I think you taught me how to do an assassin.
Yeah, I
To be
learned it
honest,
from
but
Crenzy. Crenzy's the one that taught me. So
or
we
maybe
we might
taught all of us,
yeah, we might have
and then
picked it up at Grandview.
after you, yes. So an assassin, but if the assassin isn't there or the chin whip isn't there, I would try and go lace, which was my best on if I had to do it on bottom. I could guts. I would either go high gut if I could, but even there, I wasn't good with popping through all the way. Um, that's the clock.
That's the
That love
clock.
is you hear right now.
It's
The
it's a
clock.
Oh,
beautiful
I mean,
clock.
I don't notice it because it's just like I hear it all the time. But
It's like living next to the train tracks, right? You don't even notice the train
you
after a while.
do, you know. Yeah, I go for a lace.
So
Lace.
we're back to folk style, and on the bottom, what are we doing? I think Anna's already answered this question too earlier, but go ahead.
A fat man roll.
There you go.
But you have to bait the fat man roll. So if I'm not doing a fat man roll, then I'm just gonna sit to my butt and hip heist out.
There you go.
Hopefully. And if that doesn't work, then I lay there on my back and count the lights for at least
Stop.
30 seconds. For at least 30 seconds before I figure out how to get up.
There you go. And then maybe stop and yell at the referee for a little while, and
I have not. I've never done that.
I think you have.
Right.
No,
Not me. Not I.
So how are you getting off bottom, Avery?
Avery standing up.
quick little stand up there.
Quick
You
little stand up
know,
from Avery.
a
Very
little bit
nice.
quicker than Anna. So
Well, she
She
is the
got
pokey one.
well. She was born with the urgency. I
That's
have
right.
no urgency.
right on the
anything.
whistle, man. Gotta
Yeah.
go.
You
I
you
just
can
have
lay
no-
around for a while and still make it work, right?
Yes, I was a
Don't
very
know how.
I was a very slow wrestler. Like I was very technical in a sense. I was very technical, but I could like execute it and it would be okay, you know? I don't know how I made things work, Troy. Truthfully, I seriously I think about it sometimes and I just have no idea. I have
I was
no
in your
idea.
corner many times wondering the same thing.
And you probably had no idea how anything happened. You'd be like, I don't know how she pulled that one off, but it worked.
It works, so who cares, right? So pre-match rituals. I talk to people about this all the time. Obviously, you guys are both well, Avery's pretty nice, Anna's kind of mean sometimes. But
Yes.
you have to be able to flip that switch when you go out, you cross that line. Is there something that you did pre-match that kind of was that pre-match ritual that you helped you become that evil person wrestling in the center of the mat?
Um, kind of. I would never flip a switch and like be mean. I flipped a switch that was like, you need to lock in and like execute your stuff, you know? You need to control this match. Because I knew that if I was gonna get mad or if I didn't want to be a spaz. Like I needed to stay in control because when I get out of control, it gets sloppy and I start doing things that I shouldn't, and then I get beat. So before my matches, I didn't really have a ritual, but one thing that I like always remember because I would always want to be like right there, like by the head table, and like when I was like 10 matches out and I wanted to be right up there, and Jordan would always tell me he'd be like, "The match won't start without you," and that is something that I tell wrestlers that I coach to this day when they get all antsy. I say they're not gonna start without you. Relax, like so I would always like be back somewhere. Like I'd be like in the hole and I'd be like off in a tunnel somewhere, like away. Like you would see me coming walking down when I was supposed to be on the mat wrestling. Um, I was very like I knew I needed to stay calm before my matches and not get so worked up that I used all my energy in being worked up about the match, you know? So
Hmm.
that was like my pre-ritual. And then when I got on the mat, I wouldn't put my headgear on until I got on the mat and put my ankle band on. I had to change that in college though because they said you can't do that. You have to have your headgear on before you get on the mat. But I would put my headgear on and I would put my ankle band on and I'd slap myself up and down and then I'd turn around and walk all the way and go shake hands.
Avery, did you ever volunteer to do the slapping?
Probably she probably thought about it. She's
Did you
thinking
have
about
any
it right
pre?
now.
She might be thinking about it right now. Did you have any pre-match ritual that you did?
Talk to me.
I always had to talk to Anna before I wrestled. I get overwhelmed. I'm a very anxious person, so I always had to talk to my sister. And then in my college years, I'd always have to go off by myself and I would pray before I go on the mat. And, I also had to tell myself, like, just go out there and wrestle, you know, stuff like that. But I always had to talk to Anna before I wrestled, or, like, that's just how it
Have
was.
me around. Like I would
Yeah.
I would like be up like on another mat, and I'd have to be over.
Or it'd be like, we'd be like 10 matches out and she's right there. It got a little bit harder in college because we wrestled at the same weight. So like she was getting like off somewhere and then I was like obviously right by the mat 10 matches out. That's how we're different. I would have my headgear on, I'd be ready to go 10 matches out, walking back and forth.
First,
And I
first
was
one
like,
out.
yep.
Not
And
not the pokey puppy.
I'm like, where's Anna? Where's Anna?
I would have to tell her that the match isn't going to start because
And
she'd be like, she'd have all of her headgear on and all
I
of
was
her
ready.
clothes off. I'm like, you're going to be cold by the time you get, they're not going to start without you.
I get
And you
anxious. I
should,
don't want to be anything.
I wouldn't even have my straps pulled up. Like I'd be
Yeah.
walking onto the mat, pulling my straps up. Because I just had that mindset, oh, they're not going to start without you. Because that's what Jordan would always tell me. So,
Yeah.
very good. Did you listen to music before matches?
sometimes.
Sometimes.
I usually did.
What kind of music do we listen to?
You're going to think this is weird. I listen to
Well,
TP and
to
you
what?
know who that TP and
I,
Esco.
yes, I do know who that is. They're the wrestling rap dudes, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, yes.
I listen to their like really old stuff, like the stuff they first came out with. Not their new stuff is like,
Eh.
but that's like so weird. A lot of people don't like wrestling music, like that talks about wrestling, but like, my coach in middle school used to always play TP and Esco, and so it's something that like sticks in my head. Like while we were conditioning, while we were getting pumped up to like do live or like do conditioning, and so I just like it always like gets me pumped up and in the mood to like work hard and go out and wrestle.
Very good. How about just every day? What you probably don't just play wrestling.
Go.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, every day.
Yeah.
What do you listen to, Avery?
What do I listen to every day? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm big on Megan Maroney right now, and then I love Benson Boone.
Kind of a
Did you hear
country
that?
girl, huh?
No, not really. I actually don't really like country, but I like Megan Maroney.
Okay. How about you, Anna?
Um, right now I'm in kind of a country phase, but I usually really like Elvis Presley and like just really old stuff. Like if it's from the 30s, I know it, like which a lot of people think is weird. Like you don't want to be in a car with me because we're listening to something that sounds like it should be deceased. But
So then, are you a swing dancing kind of person? If you're like
no,
really
I don't
old music,
know how to. I'm not Avery. She's just a dancer. This dancer right here. Did you forget? Oh.
gotcha. How about favorite Disney movie or cartoon movie?
Oh, Disney movie? Tangled. I really liked Tangled with Rapunzel with the long hair.
Got it.
That was my.
I've heard the story
You
before.
wouldn't know. You wouldn't know anything about long hair or hair at all.
Oh, that was kind of mean. Oh man.
Yeah. He jokes about his head all the time. So
I don't know if this is I don't think this is a Disney movie, but the Bee movie.
oh, I
Oh
love that
yeah,
movie.
B movie is
Yeah.
pretty
I love the
awesome.
movie too. Yeah, the B movie's
Yeah.
awesome.
What
Wow, we
type of
have the
movies do you probably it sound like you watch I watch cartoons all the time because I have grandkids. So that's kind of why I'm trying to check this stuff out. But what kind of movies do you normally watch?
oh.
I'm usually like a comedy or horror girl. I don't know.
Yeah, I like anything with Adam Sandler in it. I'll watch. I really like anything that's like really funny. I don't like scary movies at all. If you say we're gonna watch something scary, I'm in my car by the time the word scary gets out of your mouth. I'm driving
Really?
away. 5 miles down the road.
And Avery,
Yeah.
you like scary movies?
I love them.
I do
Yeah.
too. At least
Wow.
we know how to get rid of Anna now.
Yeah. Figured.
Very good. Any TV shows we're binging right now?
I don't have time for that.
You don't have time for
Yeah.
that?
I
No.
watched. Well,
I don't have time to breathe barely. You're lucky we got to do this because I barely had time to
Stop.
breathe.
I had to catch you on a holiday, huh?
Right, of course.
I've been watching like Grey's Anatomy a lot.
So you could be a doctor.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that qualifies you for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now here's the fun one. If you could have any superpower, what would it be
To be invisible.
and why?
Mm,
So that I could listen and eavesdrop and be nosy like I like to be. Being nosy is my best trait.
That's a
Ask a lot of
great trait.
questions.
I'd probably be like a mind reader or something so I can know what people are thinking or saying about me.
I wouldn't want that, I don't think. Mm-mm.
Is there somebody that inspired you in wrestling, whether that's like a world team member or just somebody that was, I don't know, could be anybody
Like to start?
to
To start
start, or
wrestling?
just somebody like you tried to look up to as you were wrestling?
Well, obviously, like, I was like still really young when I started, kind of. So obviously, my older siblings, Alana and Ethan, were very big like role models through the sport. Because I remember before I even started wrestling, like Ethan would wrestle with it and try and teach us stuff like down in the family room behind us, and we would just have a lot of fun down there. And so joining the sport and being able to be a part of something that they're a part of was really awesome. And having like either of them mat side when I would wrestle was super awesome, and I always wanted to like impress them in a way, or you know so they were big role models for me when I started, and still are when I think about wrestling and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Did I steal your line?
No,
Okay.
that wasn't gonna be my line.
That wasn't gonna be her line. She got a new line.
Mine
Good.
was actually Anna. Like she said,
Wow.
this is so cheesy, but like when she started wrestling stuff, I thought she was so cool and so awesome, and I really looked up to her in that way. And it was just, I wanted to be you. So I feel like, no, I'm being so serious. Like
Troy,
I really,
you better not post this. We're being awful.
No, it's for sure going on there. There's no editing involved. That takes too much time and effort.
Wow. They're gonna see the comment I made about your bald head and be like, "Wow,
That's
that girl's."
okay. It's all right because it's my bald head never I like it. I've told my when I was in high school, I think I was that far back because my dad did the comb over thing, his hair was like down to here and he did this thing. And so I
Yep,
told
yep.
her as soon as I have a spot on the back of my head, you let me know because I'm going to start shaving my head right then. And so I was in my early 20s when I started just using the clippers, and then it eventually evolved into the razor. So yeah, I haven't had hair for a long time, and I'm
Yeah,
okay with it. I've dealt with it. I'm good.
I'm
This
good.
question, I'm good. This question, I know for sure what Anna's gonna say because she's already said it. She's always jumping ahead on my questions here,
Sorry,
but
I just talk and never shut up.
but you know what's coming, I guess. I don't know. So,
Mine
is there something your coaches said to you that you'll forever remember and use?
that okay. You can if you have something you can go, but I'll try to think of another answer because I've got a lot.
I don't,
Anything?
I don't,
Like high
I
school?
mean, is there something
Like
now, right now, Avery, you're coaching. So is there something that maybe, Jordan said in practice? Yeah, had Jordan or Zach says in practice that you find yourself repeating.
don't say that.
Is there things that you can't repeat over on?
some stuff. Zach was a little hard on us sometimes, and he really really got on us, but it was obviously to make us better, but it can't be repeated on public
Oh,
public.
I got you. I'd have to change the
You have
rating
to
on
keep
the.
it out. You really have to edit.
Yeah, we'd have to
Um,
edit. Yes.
like I'm thinking like
I mean, I do really like the match isn't going to start without you. I might use that because I do have some people that get a little excited
I
and
get so antsy, yes, and
yeah.
like people that stand there for like when you're 10 matches out with your headgear on and you're like in your singlet standing there like looking like what are you doing? Like I don't even have my strap. I wouldn't even have my straps up. Like you already said that.
But Avery's ready to go. She's ready to go for her third match, and the first one hasn't even started yet.
I do look ahead like that. Yep.
Yes.
I feel like just like what did Jordan used to say? He used to just say like just go out and wrestle.
Do your
It
like
works.
do your thing or something. Like or he'd be like, it's time to go, and he'd like hold his hand out like this. Like he'd like hold his hand out and be like, all you, like time to go.
Yeah.
So, coaching middle school girls. I did a little bit of that this year. I typically stick with high school kids, but I had to help out with the middle school a little bit. What do you see as in their minds the boundary or barriers to wrestling? Like, is there any of them that are like, oh, I can't go out for wrestling because whatever this reason?
Like excuses.
Like yeah.
Excuses. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get more middle school age kids out for wrestling. What are the things
Well,
that
one of them told me that they couldn't go out for wrestling because they had a plate in their elbow, and I said, "Well, I have a plate in my collarbone, and I still wrestle, so you'll be good. Let's go." I think a lot of it is they think they have to weight cut, and I think it's just like they see like the conditioning and stuff, and they just don't want to do it.
They see that it's hard and don't want to get
Yeah.
involved. I think that the weight cutting thing is hard just because like looking at it from an old school day and like we're wearing garbage bags and like stuff that we would do back in the day is still like what parents still remember wrestling being like when they were in high school seeing the guys like 'cause it was way more serious even when I was in high school and we were cutting weight and stuff it was never like we weren't running the halls in garbage bags like nobody knew that we were cutting weight as much as they did
Yep.
back then and I think that parents have a lot of influence on when their middle school girl comes and says, I want to wrestle. And that can seem really intimidating. Um,
I feel like they also just like don't want to get hurt. Like
Yeah.
I had a lot of girls this year like
be
but like
scared.
I can't like be scared to do something. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt them," or "I don't want to get hurt," and I'd be like, "You're not gonna hurt them. I promise you, you're not
There's a
gonna hurt
map for a
them."
reason.
Yes. So a lot of that I had this year, but
is there any at the school? Do you think there's maybe people that make fun of girls that go out for wrestling yet, or do you think we're past that?
I think we might be past that just because of how I'm not. I could be wrong, but of with how big it is, like we're not wrestling on boys teams anymore. Like it's a fully sanctioned sport, and like it's like huge now. I feel like compared to like when I was the only girl on this boys team, where none of these boys had ever had a girl on their team, and so I feel like with that, I feel like that the bullying issue is kind of weaned away, but I could be wrong. I'm not there.
I
But
kind of
You're
think
not.
that now like they kind of think it's like cool. They're like, "Oh, you wrestle? Like that's cool." Now because they see like
how grown it is
Yeah.
and how unique it is to even be able to be a part of girls wrestling. Um,
yeah. I haven't heard anything about anybody like that since it's
Well,
grown
good.
this much. I've never had personally any issues with it in when I started, but also I was older and there was like I know I saw well I heard
People had
about Atlanta's experience, I heard about Anne's experience, and that was when there was nobody, like they were the only girls on the team. So
people had accepted that me at the time like by the time she had started and like the rest of the girls team because it wasn't just her that started I had like got a whole group of people on this team I gathered
Yeah.
this and I think that the guys on the team had gotten so used to me being there all the time and that it was just no different for anybody else to be there and I think that helped a lot with everybody else's experience because like when I started you think those guys wanted me on the team they
Probably
wanted me
not.
not on nope
yeah,
And so I think that that helped a lot. And especially that there were other girls on the team. It's very intimidating from outside. Oh, I want to join the boys wrestling team, going into a room with people that you don't even know that are the opposite gender as you, and you're trying to fit in and match something that's not even comparable. Like, I'm gonna have to practice with a guy that I will never beat because it's not comparable, and that's intimidating because people see that.
Hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
So you both just got promoted. You're now the head of the NFHS, National Federation of High Schools, and you can make any rule change to wrestling you want. You can add a rule or change a rule or take a rule away. What are we doing?
Okay, so I say this just because I don't like change, and I just like things how they have always been. I hate the 3-point takedown rule. I hate it. So even this past weekend at Rivers, when they would be like three, I'd be like two.
I do that all the time still too.
Really
I'm always,
stupid.
Because
really
in
dumb.
freestyle, it's still 2.
yeah.
So it's like we were kind of still with the 2-point takedowns.
And
Yeah.
I'm over here like with my hands up like two.
And I'm like, no.
And then they're like, oh, Anna's up. And I'm like, I must not know
See,
wrestling.
exactly. We tried not to let her come, but she got there anyway.
It was forced upon. You needed me.
I needed you. I'm not against the going back to 2-point takedown. I do sometimes think that some of the matches just get over so quick anymore. I mean, you get a 3-point takedown, you take somebody to the back, 4-point near fall, a couple of those, and it's tech fall. You can be off the mat.
And I don't think that tech fall was never very common
No.
when I was in high school, and even before then, it wasn't very common. Like, if you were to tech somebody in folk style, you were either that you were really good or that person was really not. So
Yeah.
it was just
I've seen matches this year of two really decent wrestlers, and tech falls happen just because of the scoring system now. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm not saying I think that might be a good one. How about you, Avery? Any rule changes?
I probably do the push-out point.
I like that rule also.
but that's only in modified folk style. So only.
But I think, but she is now the head of the NFHS. She can change whatever she wants.
You would want to add it too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just to why?
It makes the matches better. You got to circle in.
Yeah.
You can't stall on the sides.
I like it because what if they're just stalling the whole time and you just push them out?
Would you add the push up? Would you add the start on your feet too? Then would you just do the push up? Okay, just push up point.
Yeah, I like the push out point. People wanting to circle in.
You're down by 1. They're just stalling on.
Well, I was feet. I think the only reason I don't like that rule is because I was the kid that got pushed out. So.
How about in freestyle? Did you guys learn to circle in, stay in the center of the mat?
Yeah.
I feel like the mat was big. I didn't really fall into that issue very much, to be honest with you. I don't think I recall a time where I had an issue with that, but
gotcha. Well, I will say when we're at Twin Rivers, the circles are much smaller than regulation.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. I thought they just exactly.
Yeah, you're probably a good 2 feet shorter than all the way around. And so it is a little bit tough. So do you see yourselves continuing on somewhere in the sport of wrestling, whether it's coaching, officiating? Would you ever consider officiating, make Nadine happy, or do you see yourself coaching?
I would, but I want to coach with Anna. We've already kind of talked about this. Like, she wants
to coach a team with me.
I would like to stay in the sport of wrestling with Anna. Like, it's something we can do together.
Do you guys think really, orange and black is really you guys' colors? I mean, I could see you guys in orange and black.
Okay. Yeah.
It might be.
I think orange. Yeah.
I think it might be.
I don't know.
We can do
maybe in the future. We'll see.
He's thinking in the next 9 months is what he's.
Well, if not this year, next year maybe. I don't know. I give you a year. Yeah, Jason still helps out, but he also helps out with BV, so he's doing
Yeah, I
that.
knew that.
Now Abby McIntyre's up in the area, so there'd be somebody else you could hang out with. See? It's
Yeah.
becoming more enticing. Northwest Iowa is so much fun.
Something more enticing.
There's so much to do in Northwest Iowa. I mean,
You
you
think so?
can, yeah, you could,
Ride your bike
you
or
could
look
ride
at
your
this?
bike, go on a walk. We have
Oh,
movie theaters if you wanted to. We have Walmart, Dollar General.
it's
So, I mean,
probably
there's
like
all kinds of
All
great
kinds of
stuff.
fun.
It's right. It's so much fun. We don't, I'm in a town with absolutely no stoplights. So really,
really
honestly, that's a benefit also. It doesn't slow you down, get into work.
Doesn't slow you down.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to
Don't do it.
wait ever. So, those are good things.
You don't have to wait ever.
Yes. Well, I've gotten through my entire list, I believe. And so I'm down to final thoughts from both of you, and they must be profound thoughts. Do you have any of those profound
Protein.
thoughts?
I don't think I have a thought. I don't think I have a brain cell. But
I believe that, but no, if you were gonna even just think of it as maybe you're gonna tell somebody about going out for wrestling or what wrestling's done for you. How about that?
um wrestling definitely like saved my life in a sense. I was like not making the best choices and hanging out with the wrong people and just not headed in the right direction, both academically and mentally, and just 100% not in the right direction. And wrestling turned my life around entirely, like with like determination wise, like changed my whole mindset on everything. Absolutely ever. I threw everything away to be a good wrestler. Not that I was ever great or the best, but I did everything in my power to be the greatest wrestler, whether I was or wasn't. But if you're gonna go out for wrestling, go out for wrestling, especially if you're having a hard time with whatever. Wrestling will change your life. It'll turn your whole life around, um, in every aspect. So those are my final thoughts. Do it.
Very
Just
good.
do it, and don't quit, because if you quit, you're a wussy.
There you go. Before I let Avery talk, do you think because maybe at times you struggled in wrestling that will help you be a better coach?
I think it'll make me a better person, just in general. I think that in every aspect of life, it's going to affect me in a good way. But I do think it'll help in coaching. I have thought a lot about coaching and whether or not I should pursue that ever, just because I'm not very nice. Like, you should see. I'm gonna send After this. I'm gonna send you some of the pictures of me coaching at Twin Rivers, and I'm like this. Like, what are you doing? Like, screaming at these wrestlers like they know what's going on. Like, I'm yelling at them like, what are you doing? I'm not the nicest coach right now, but you know that was that's just kind of how I am, and that's how I was coach. That's how I raised our high school girls. That's how I would
Yeah.
coach. Avery, and even during practice, I would yell, and like one girl had walked out of practice because I screamed at her and told her to stop crying during practice, and I was still wrestling at this time, but um, I I think that it will affect me as a coach, or impact me in a positive way. Hopefully, unless I'm
As,
mean and make the team quit.
as you get older, you chill out, believe me. I'm way more relaxed now than I ever was. How about you,
Yeah.
Avery? Final thoughts.
Yeah, I think going out for wrestling like obviously changed my life. It built our relationship way closer. Um like I feel like it helped a lot with my mental health and like how anxious I was about things. I built a lot more confidence and I think I made a lot of bonds and that was like a great part of it. But also go out because what's the worst that could happen? It's fun. Don't knock it till you try it.
And you
I've
don't have
I've
to
said
like.
that. You know what? I've told girls this before because what's the worst that could happen? And I had someone say, "Well, I could lose." And I said, "No, the worst that could happen is you go out, you break your neck, and you die. That would be the absolute worst thing that
Yeah,
you could possibly
Yeah.
happen."
and it's like
I mean,
just
if we're gonna
go.
say the worst thing,
It's like just
so
go out there and have fun. You
That's
know,
right.
it's supposed to be a fun sport too, and you're supposed to like build relationships with people, and that's like I think the best part about wrestling is the relationships I built.
Losing is definitely the worst part.
Especially just with like Anna, and then my best friend I met at Iowa Central through wrestling. So I and um through Boone. So
Well, I've had a really good time this afternoon talking to you guys and getting caught up with you. We'll try not to forget Anna next year on the coaching staff. I feel bad.
Right. It's okay because I ended up there anyways. You didn't just
That's right.
forget me. I just showed up.
That's right.
I made
Perfect.
myself known.
You're like a bent penny. You keep rolling back, huh? All right. Well, you two have a great rest of your evening, and I will talk to you later.
yes, thank
Thank
you
you,
for
thank
having
you.
us.
You bet.